Hi everyone, I'm Claire V. Cañaveral and now we are going to talk about the BPM or the Business Process Management phases. Defining the business process management phases. Business process management is a systematic approach to understanding, improving, and managing an organization. It is generally accepted to have four phases. We have the document, assess, improve, and manage. So again, the four basic phases in the BPM discipline, we have the document, which involves process modeling, the assess, which have analysis and measurement, improve, which includes design or redesign, and manage, which means to control. So the value chain processes are a strategic asset of the organization. So they must be documented, measured, improved when necessary, and managed like any other asset. By following the methodology outlined, managers have the added advantage of using enabling technology to help execute this process more efficiently and effectively. And the next one, we have the 10 business process modeling techniques. So James Proctor, in his 10 perilous misconceptions of censuring current state mapping and analysis, explains that the business process modeling should begin by answering 5 questions that will provide a framework to start thinking about how you do your business. So these 5 questions are, first, we have, what are you currently doing? So in doing business or in managing organization, you really need to know what are the actions that you started doing for you to be aware what you are going to do next. Then the second one, we have the what are you currently doing that is not needed. So of course, there is no perfect actions or perfect steps in managing a business. So you really have that kind of doing that is unnecessary for the implementation or the growth of your business. So you need to minimize that kind of doing. The third one, we have the what are you currently doing that can be improved. So this is one of the most crucial thing that you should focus. It is about improving and enhancing the things that you are currently doing, which really needs a high improvement for your business to grow. Then the next one, we have, what are you not doing that you know you should be doing? So there are also certain things that we are aware that we should be doing, but we tend to somehow procrastinate. So we really need to focus also on that things for the betterment of the performance of your business. The last one, we have, what are you doing that you know you shouldn't be doing? So again, it is really important for us to know what are the things that should be minimized, or to what are the doings or actions that should be lessened, which is not necessary to the growth of your business. So business process modeling isn't a new concept. However, when implemented effectively, it can help optimize business process, giving you a visual reference so that you can better understand, analyze, and improve workflows. So when it comes to describing what your business does, you could probably sum it up in a matter of sentences. However, the reality is that it can only achieve its purpose by your team working together to complete a series of tasks in succession, so in order to produce a final result. So business process modeling allows you to map out all of these steps into a visual representation so that you can better understand, analyze, and improve the workflow or process. Fundamentally, business process modeling involves identifying, defining, and representing a process in its entirety in order to aid communication of the process. It also has the following benefits. First, it allows you to identify tasks that are redundant and remove them. So this refers to minimizing unnecessary actions or doings. The second one, we have you can spot bottlenecks in the process and improve process efficiency by eliminating them. The third one, we have efficient process can be identically repeated and even when a new staff member must perform that part of the process. So, the next one, we have the techniques in business process modeling. So, business process modeling notation or BPMN is comprised of symbols that are used as a representation of tasks and workflows. So any symbols can be used in business process, but using standardized ones allows you to collaborate with outside analysts more easily, and it spares you from having to invent your own visual language. So first, we have the flow objects. So this shows the flow of the process and are represented as follows. So we have circle, rectangles, and diamonds. So first, we have here the circle. So as you can see in the picture, there are different symbols or signs inside a circle that represents different meanings. So for example, a circle that has an envelope, so it means that inside the circle there must be or there should be a place where a message should be placed. Then the next one, we have rectangles. So these activities fit into rectangular boxes. So they uses the rectangle shapes to be placed with the activities that will be done on they uses the rectangle shapes to be placed with the activities that will be done on the company or on the organization. Then also we have the diamonds. It is the control points or gateways that are represented as diamond shapes. So as you can see in the example or in the picture, we have here a diamond shape and has a word decision inside it. So it is a control point or gateway to what is needed to be done or what is the next step to be taken. And now we have the connecting objects. It is used to show how tasks are connected and in what sequence they occur. So we have solid lines and dashed lines. Solid lines show task transfers. So please refer to the image I provided. It is an example of solid lines which transfers task. So we have there the review or the next one, we have the receive notification. So it is a transfer of task. It is all about transferring tasks from one person to another using a medium. The next one, we have dashed lines. So it shows messages. So please refer to the image that I have provided for you to fully familiarize what is the work of the dashed lines or how it looked like. The next one, we have the swim lanes. So these make provision for sub-processes that share responsibilities and how they interact. The swim lanes are the people or departments that the sub-process impacts on. So please refer again to the image that I have provided for you to fully understand or for you to have a clear understanding on what swim lanes look like. The next one, we have artifacts. It is used if you have additional information that isn't a sequence flow or message flow, but that will further explain the process. So for example, we have here the dotted lines, the squares outlined with dots and dashes, and square bracket. So dotted lines, these point to the flow object that the extra information expand on. So it is not the messages inside a rectangular shape or a diamond shape. So it is about the dotted lines. So I also provided examples for you to understand or to look into. And the next one, we have the squares outlined with dots and dashes. These group related elements in the diagram. Then we have the square bracket. The text annotations are added here. Then the second technique, we have the Unified Modeling Language diagrams. So Unified Modeling Language, or UML, is a more modern approach to modeling and documenting processes. So please take a look at the image that I have provided. So UML was initially developed by software developers but has been successfully used in business process modeling with a more object-oriented approach to its 14 UML diagram types. So we have structural diagrams and behavioral diagrams. Then the next one, we have the flowchart technique. This is a graphic representation of something that is manufactured or produced, which gives people involved in the project or process a single reference point. So as you can see in the picture, it is a flow chart that use basic shapes and arrows to define relationships such as processes, decisions, or data. The next one, we have the data flow diagrams. So the data flow diagrams, or DFDs, show how data enters a system from external sources, how data moves internally within the system, and how the data is stored. So DFD, or data flow diagram, symbols vary slightly but are mostly based on the same principles. So we have here the square. These show external entities which are either the source of data or the destination. And the other one, we have the rounded rectangles. These represent processes that receive data as input, interact with it, and then produce an output, or it has an outcome, as you can see on the picture that is being provided. Then the next one, we have the arrows. These show the flow of data either as electronic data or physical items. So we have the sequence flow. We have the straight arrow, which refers to as normal. And we have conditional arrows, default arrows, message flow arrows, association, which is we have directed and non-directed. The last one, we have the open-ended rectangles. This represents data stores and include electronic stores like databases or XML files, as well as physical stores such as or filing cabinets or stacks of paper. And the fifth technique, we have the role activity diagrams, or RADs, are used to map out the intangible roles or ideas of behavior that are desired within the company. So this can often be or RADs are used to map out the intangible roles or ideas of behavior that are desired within the company. So this can often be functions within the business, like systems in IT or customer and supplier roles. So RADs are easy to read and understand and often provide a different perspective on a process, which helps support communication. So as you can see in the picture, it is really easy and simple, so it can be easily understood. The next one, we have the role interaction diagrams. So it is a business process models that graphically illustrate the interaction of various processes with each other within a system. Interaction diagrams come in two forms. We have the sequence diagrams and collaboration diagrams. So these are the two types of interaction diagrams which typically used to capture the various aspects of interaction in a system. So first we have the sequence diagram. A sequence diagram shows the interaction between objects in the sequence in which they take place. So sequence diagrams describe how the objects function within a system. So also in what order and or often used to document and understand what is required for new and existing systems. The next one, we have the collaboration diagram. Collaboration diagrams are used to define and clarify the roles of the objects that carry out as the main source of information when determining class responsibilities and interfaces. The seventh one, we have the Gantt charts. So in the late 19th century, Gantt charts were the gold standard and are often the go-to business process model for companies preparing for projects with distinct timelines or that have time-sensitive processes that need to be captured and tracked. So I know that you are all aware of this type of chart, which is the Gantt chart, because it in some feasibility studies, or mostly of the feasibility study that we've taken, we use the Gantt chart. So Gantt charts make it easy for people involved in different parts of a process to see when they are meant to start work and by when each task should be complete, and to check whether all the sub-processes are on schedule. So we have here the plan, what are the months, we have the January and February, then the research, write, break, edit, review, and submit. The eighth one, we have the integrated definition for function modeling, integrated definition, or the IDEF for function modeling displays when parent activities give rise to child diagrams. So under that is an image that is an example of an IDEF. So there are 15 forms of IDEF, and each addresses a different type of flow for functions, information, data, simulation, model design, process, description, capture, and so on. So the picture that I have provided here is just one of the 15 forms of IDEF. Number 9, we have the colored patronettes that are unique in that they can represent both a state, such as passive, unsent, or waiting, and an action such as send, receive, or transmit in the same diagram. So colored nets used colors to differentiate their symbols and use a formal mathematical representation with well-defined syntax and semantics. So I have two images set as an example there of the colored patronettes. So as you can see, there are blue, red, and another blue, and the other one we have the blue and red, yellow colors that are present in a diagram. So each color represents different meanings and representation. So When a system has numerous processes that interact and synchronize with each other, then colored patronets are ideal. So this modeling technique is used to design, simulate, and verify systems. And the last one, we have the object-oriented methods. So the object-oriented method of business process modeling is more than just modeling with objects. So it encompasses message passing, encapsulation, where internal detail is hidden, and inheritance from class to subclass, and polymorphism, where the same procedure can operate on different data types. So I also provided 2 examples of images of the object-oriented method. So the first image, we have the requirements analysis, which have analyzing requirement, object model, dynamic model, then analysis model. We have the design and the coding. So under the design, we have the architecture design, choice of implementation strategy or object design, and we have here the last, we have the coding or coding in 000 language. So to make it clear also, we have another example which is easy to understand. We have the requirements, analysis, object dynamic model, function model, object design, and coding. So that's all for BPM, or the business process management phases.